Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Lee with another review. As you guys can see, I am currently just relaxing, getting ready to do my thing, go to work and all that. But I wanted to get out a review. I meant to do this review like 2 days ago, but I've been busy for the past couple of days. So I'll be doing 2 uploads here on the channel. This is my first one, and then I'll do my second one later because I've got other stuff that I've got to take care of. Because as you can see, I look kind of scruffy, and I need to fix this whole situation going on right here. But anyways, I wanted to do a review on the movie The Prodigy. As you can see by my tagline, this one isn't going to go well. What can I say about this movie? So I'm going to do my normal 3 things. It's going to be the overall view, whether or not that this has any pros to it, some cons, and then whether I should see uh, this movie or whether you should skip it. Also, full disclaimer, this is an R-rated film, so this review is not designed for kids. This is for adults or teenagers looking to see a film. Hopefully it's not this one. Getting started, the overall premise is actually an interesting one. It's about a boy who is born at around the same time when a serial killer is killed, as explained in the beginning of the movie. I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but these two plot lines are the things that are linked together. Through the course of this film, the boy is a genius, hence the name The Prodigy. And from a very young age, he starts doing stuff that normal little kids shouldn't do. He walks and talks way ahead of when he's supposed to. He is extremely intelligent, putting things together and making models and things like that. So his parents naturally send him to a school for gifted children where they can hone his immense intelligence. Now, the eerie part of this character is that he has two distinctly different colored eyes. One is blue and one is like a hazel brown. And this movie, the pros jumping right into it, I'd say would be the child actor who plays the little boy. I felt like, I'm sorry, normally I go in depth and I let you know who the actors are, but really none of these people should be highlighted. Maybe this kid, but his acting is subpar at best, although he does have more of a promising future than anyone else in this film. So he plays the questioning child, and his acting is probably the single best part of this film, that and the father. The rest of the characters are flat and bland. So I'm just going to jump right into my cons, which are going to be a lot more than my pros. The cons is flat characters. Absolutely flat. Now, in horror movies, they're not known for having good character development. As a matter of fact, if you take a look back into any horror film, very few of them actually develop their characters. They're there as a vehicle for whatever the killer entity, spirit, whatever the horror movie is talking about. They're kind of just there as a device to move the story along. They're pretty much there to be taken out, essentially, and progress the story. This movie does something weird where it has no character development but tries to develop its characters, if that makes any sense. And you'll understand what I'm saying when you see this film. I literally struggled my hardest just to do a review on this, staying awake to try to catch the little things and details that would stand out to me or make this movie stand out. In terms of violence for an R-rated film, it was very tame, and I appreciated that because I always thought horror was not about being gory or having so much swearing and things like that. A good horror movie plays on people's fears. If you look at Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, Halloween, classic horror movies, they always were scary because it wasn't necessarily about being brutally violent. It was about saying something that was scary to us, whether it's a fear of the dark or with the birds. a fear of all of these creatures that hover above you attacking at random. I mean, that was clever. With Psycho back in the day, it was the sense of how they shot Norman Bates. And even though at the time, and we're talking black and white, at the time this is considered one of the greatest slasher films ever made. And it's because of the way it was shot. It was the music. It was how the angles conveyed a fear of facing this person. And it was Anthony Perkins and the way he portrayed this character, how he switched from this normal everyday guy you could see at a hotel to someone who completely was out of their mind. These are the things that drive a good horror movie along as it goes. This movie had none of that. Now, it's not to say that the movie is bad. It's actually not bad in the sense of it doesn't go somewhere and it doesn't have a beginning, middle, and end. And for all of the boredom that there was, the ending, I would say, would be good if the rest of the movie didn't lag behind it. I mean, there was no sense of tension. They tried. They tried to build tension, but I didn't feel it. There was no reason for me to really care about these people. First off, the mother's character was so unrealistically done that when we get to the final act, I really didn't care what happened to her. If anything, the most developed character was the father, and he was the one person that I was rooting for, yet they take him out of the story. And I wished the roles were reversed because the weakest character, the one that you're supposed to feel for at the end of the movie, has no reason for you to care about her. None at all. I mean, if you watch the film, and my suggestion is you don't, and go somewhere and get it spoiled for you, you will see that she doesn't have the personality for people to get behind her to care. Now, they try, and from a perspective of someone who is a father, her reactions don't really say great parenting. They don't inspire me to be like, wow, she would go through any lengths for this kid. She's just a boring, uninteresting character with really no backstory whatsoever. And I think even in the most basic of horror movies, you have to have a backstory, whether it's generic or not. The great horror films, even Jason, or any of those like B movie 80s films that came out, yes, they had very stereotypical characters. You had the jocks, you had the cheerleaders, you had the good old wholesome girl who you knew was going to live at the end of the movie. You had the people who did things that you knew was going to cause their inevitable end, but we knew who the characters were. Now, we may have known which order they were going to go in, but it was still fun to watch. And more importantly, there was action driving the story along so that you could get to the end of the film. This film is literally painful to get through. And I don't mean it's not well shot. There's beautiful scenery. The school that the kid goes through is very interesting. And the concept that they bring is very interesting concept. And even playing around with the idea that maybe this kid is crazy or maybe there's something else going down is interesting. And the doctor who plays in this film has been in other movies. He's a decent actor, but he has like a 5-second cameo that doesn't really do anything but to establish, hey, there's something wrong, and hey, it's this thing that they talk about. But there's no reason to invest. There's no reason to care. If you go and see this movie, you probably fall asleep, you'll wake up and go, what just happened? Because it has nothing. Now, there was a similar movie that came out called The Nun, which I never did a review on, but it was beautifully shot. The ending fell flat for me, and I felt like it was more filler, kind of an unnecessary add to the Conjuring franchise. But I watched the whole thing, and I can honestly say I wasn't bored with the film. I didn't like aspects of it, but it was still an entertaining enough movie for me to watch all the way through. Because The moments that tried to be scary were scary. They legitimately made you jump. And the connect to the first films was there and probably one of the stronger aspects of this film. The rest of it just didn't do it for me, and it was beautifully shot. Very beautiful scenery, the architecture and everything, and that's even something that critics say. This movie had decently shot scenes. It had a decent enough ending, but it had no moving action to keep you invested. And it's disappointing. This is just another example of the disappointing slate of movies that are out in 2019. And it's a shame because this one doesn't try to copy other films. The whole evil child thing has been done 1,000 times and probably done way better by other films. This concept in the hands of a different director may have been executed better, but the execution was poor. And by the time he delivers on what should be the payoff of the film, you're going, thank goodness, because how long has this been? It's only under an hour and a half. I mean, it's even got a good horror movie runtime. And still, like nothing I've ever seen. Literally nothing I've ever seen in my life. Even the worst horror movie had something to keep me invested. This movie does not whatsoever. So my final thoughts and opinions, skip this film. It's a bad movie. It's bad in the sense of it has no reason for you to care. It doesn't have any driving force. The parts that are scary and designed to make you jump don't do that. I maybe flinched once in the whole entire film, and it was a very well shot sequence, and if they had done that for the rest of the movie, it might have keeping me engaged in the film. But you don't care about the characters, you don't care about what happens to them, and you don't care about a poorly set up, clearly they thought this was going to be a big deal sequel kind of moment. You just don't care. And that's a shame because horror movies are supposed to invoke this feeling of caring and wanting these people to come out on top, and when they don't, that feeling of this malevolent force beat them is just not there. So that's all I got for you. If you want to be bored or you want to get some sleep, then by all means, waste 10.50 to see this film. But if you want to see a good movie, go check out my review on the Lego movie and go see that instead, because at least you'll have fun and you'll be entertained. That's all I got for you. If you like this video, please click the subscribe button, hit the little bell on the bottom that gives notifications of when I post these videos. Also, please, 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 please tell everyone about the channel and let friends, family members, and other people know about my postings. I try to post 2 or 3 videos a day. Sometimes I can't do that. I also have other videos coming. My next video, which will be today, hopefully, is going to be on the Netflix show You, which is more entertaining than this movie, and if you have Netflix, you should be watching it. It's not for kids, but it's a great, great show, and I'm going to break down to you why You is such a great Netflix show. I'm probably going to have to do it in 2 parts because it's a decently long show, and I want to cover the first half of it and then go into the second half. I also want to let people know that this is a book and that the show is based on the book. So, anyways, thank you for everyone who's been viewing me. Thank you for the thumbs up. The person who posted this, clearly they saw that movie, Prodigy. It was terrible. But anyways, I'm going to get going here and get my life together because as you can see, I'm still in my blanket. And I just got to fix this whole situation going on right here. So thank you for the support. Thank you to all the subscribers, and I'll post something for you in a couple of hours. Until then, have a great day, and I will see you